Hi, Craig. Welcome back to the Free Speech Cage.
Good morning, Max. Always good to be here.
So, I think today we're going to talk about your flags. Is that correct?
Yes, we're going to talk about how my flags reflect sort of my views on political activism and also how they have morphed in the past a little over a year from election time in October, November of 2024 through to just the latest flag I picked up last week. So I started with these during the Harris campaign in 2014. I made one up. Trump is and you can choose four: traitor, felon, loser, rapist. But people took a lot of pictures of it. So then once Trump became president, it didn't take long for me to realize that there are other messages that resonated with me. So initially, him and Musk, you can see that's the picture of him and Musk. And there was, right off the bat, it was this royalty, this king thing that he was proclaiming. And Americans don't serve kings. We have never served kings. And then I moved on to the next flag, which was no kings in America. Now this one I bought. I'd seen it. They were all over Lexington. It's sort of shorthand for we don't like Trump, but it is also the history of America. Like, we don't like kings. We like being able to vote for the people that represent us. We don't like monarchies. We don't like things that are hereditary in that fashion. So then the next one that I did was a sort of similar one, which pre-made, I Stand with Canada. Trump was just making and he's still making them, absurd ideas about how to take over Canada as a 51st state. He's also making absurd ideas about how to take over Greenland. And we've seen he has kept up that sort of dialogue, talking about military action, not against Canada or necessarily Greenland, but certainly Venezuela, Nigeria, even Mexico. So this is a guy with imperialistic ideas. The Marine Corps flag gives me a fair amount of street cred when I say that I do not like Trump or his policies. I don't know why Americans have, especially the Democratic Party, have let Republicans and right-wing factions take over things like the military or the symbolism of the American flag, but I got an American flag too. I fly that one on my bicycle as well, and I mix and match. And then after the American flag, something else pops up. I get the most comments off of this flag, but as you have noted, it's not quite the same messages as other ones. It's more in your face. It's more divisive. It's more saying, you support Trump, you're an idiot. I don't support Trump, I'm not an idiot. The next message I had after that was invoke the 25th. And we'll see that's starting to gain a lot of sort of traction these days as Trump clearly is spinning out of control. He's calling for the assassination, literally, of people that oppose him, sitting lawmakers. But how these simple ideas turn or don't turn into real life things is amazing. So then from there, I moved to this next one, which we've seen on a previous show: issue and obey lawful orders only, and that of course has set Trump off. If we look at his posts about those 6 senators that, or not all senators, they're representatives, or they'd all been in the military, or CIA or whatever it might be. They know what it's like to take an oath. They know what it's like to be on the front lines of democracy. They know what it's like to have to decide whether this is legal or not. And simply telling people not to follow illegal orders. It's one of the first things you learn in boot camp. And yet, when they say it, Trump says hang them, or words to that effect. And so for me to make that sign and fly it, I get a fair number of comments on that too, especially with my Marine Corps background. But to even have to have a sign like that is just utterly ridiculous. And I think these banners that I've got capture where we've gone in the past 13, 14 months, from the election on up to the moment where we've got a sitting president literally suggesting that sitting lawmakers get hung for telling troops not to obey all of his orders. We do have things we can do as a country,
Right.
and we can do them together. And those of us that feel really strongly about something need to keep in our mind that the word together is important. We can't just generally do this stuff by ourselves.